Okay, greetings from Govardhan. I have a big audience here today. So let's see. Okay, reading from Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, Book 2, Chapter 3, Text 70. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let me see, maybe I need more light. And I have it, probably no. Abodhayaṁ mano nena maheśenaiva khalu līlā-viśeṣa-vaicitrī kṛtā mūrti-viśeṣataḥ. I told my mind that it is Lord Śiva himself who performs these wonderful, varied pastimes in the special form of Lord Gopāla. Om Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Taksurimalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sadvait Sivasade Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Haribo. So greetings from Govardhan. Raghunath, Pranpriya, have you ever read the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta?
Yeah, we started, we never finished it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is the second book, and it's really interesting. It's about a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, Gopakumar, and he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know any rituals. He doesn't know Shah. He doesn't know who Lord Śiva is. He doesn't know who Lord Brahma is. But he's a simple cowherd boy. And somehow he's on the bank of the Jamuna, and there's a Bhagavat, like the highest, you know, and somehow or other he renders some service to him, just kindness and service. And somehow he winds up getting initiated. And he doesn't have knowledge, but he has a lot of good qualities because he's got, the Braja the simple faith he has. So somehow or other, his guru initiates him and then goes off into ecstasy. And then he's got this mantra, which he has with faith. And of course, the mantra really represents Bhagavat Sarup Gyan, the form of God that you worship, and Sambandha Visesh, your relationship. It may come in seed, but it happened in the Hare Krishna movement. You get initiated. You used to, as soon as you got initiated, you used to go onto the altar and worship Radha and Krishna. So Prabhupada gave you like Radha Govinda, he gave you Radha Rukmini Dwarkadish. So it was like that. And your relationship was in that mood. Maybe, you worship in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan, but gradually that Braja thing, Krishna book comes. We've gotten that, that's all. So he has that Bhagavat Swarup Gyan, but he doesn't really, it's a faith, and it's a faith in terms of experience. But faith is like a two-pronged thing. It's experience and understanding. It's both things. But he doesn't have the understanding, but he has the faith. And he has enough faith that he wants to search for the person whose name he's chanting. But he doesn't really even know almost that it's God or what. He just has this relationship. And he begins searching. And every place he goes, you see, I have a problem too, because there's two books. The first book is about Narada Muni searching, and this is about Gop Kumar, and I get them mixed up. But it's yeah, okay. If you get back to what this is it starts with Sanatana Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami, come in. This is Vasudeva. Okay. Bonjour, monsieur.
Sorry for that.
Have you ever met Raghunath? This is Vasudeva.
No, no,
This is Prampriya, his wife.
no.
That's your seat. I'm telling the people here, it's an amazing day. All these personalities from my past are showing up.
Really?
Me and Vasudev, we used to go preach in Jaipur together. Do you remember that?
40 years ago.
40, are you joking?
No, about that.
40 years ago, I used to preach with him. And I remember he would go in Indian's house and he'd have a banner.
I had a program in Jaipur and so that, yeah, with a preacher quality. Maharaj was available, he came.
But what I used to do is he used to come and he'd practically nail his banner into the wall. Just like he would nail it into the wall, and the Indians had to go along, right? We go, and then it's a long līlā, but Braga would really like to see your film on Dave Prayag. If you know who that is, he's really interested.
YouTube channel.
All right.
Okay, so let him know your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you after the class. I'll show the link, the channel.
Okay. And then this guy shows up at my door and he's like, he's otherworldly. He's completely otherworldly. And I knew him from 30 years ago. And when I knew him, he was this incredible musical talent. And he'd have this way of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. I can't explain it,
Can
but
you act it out or sound it out?
no, but he had it going in multiple layers in his consciousness. I don't know how he did it, but he'd have multiple layers, like a symphony of different.
Really?
Yeah, and it was going on at different levels. And I remember that this person from Radhakund we knew used to come to the Gurukul and stayed next to his room, and he was mind blown. Who is this guy? How can he chant like that all night long? Yeah, and now he had a wife, he had a daughter, and he's from Switzerland. And now he told me that he's a disciple of Borijan. He's got permission to retire to Radhakund. He's a pensioner. And these people that are advanced, they have this kind of like, it's kind of like a purified Arjuna. You know what I'm saying? Like a certain like intensity. But that's he has with student disciple Arjuna, and this guy has such an intensity you can't imagine. But his intensity is helping people get over trauma, and he's like it's such a focus, that same kind of focus, right? But on the holy name, going on different levels. It's an amazing.
Borijan's disciple?
Yeah, yeah.
They,
Hari Krishna Das. His name is Hari Krishna Das.
and it used to be Arjuna.
No, that's another person. That's no.
Arjuna, sorry. Yes.
No. This is another Arjuna. We're just talking about a person we know who's dedicated his life to helping people get over trauma. And he's so intense on it that there's nothing else in his consciousness. But this person has it with the holy name. And it's a gift. And it goes on different levels. There's not just one mantra chanting, but he's got one mantra at 1 meter and another mantra at another meter, and it goes on simultaneously, and he's completely absorbed.
But every word is a chant.
Yeah,
Every word is a song.
yeah, yeah, but it's complicated than that. Okay, so Vasudev, have you ever read Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta? You have. Okay, so this is the Gop Kumar story, and the brilliance of it is, it's Sanatana Goswami, and you can take a book and go before the book, and before the book is the mind of the author. There's a whole mind, like Raghunath, you write a book, right? First, it's like a whole mind beforehand. Why is he writing the book? Who's the audience for? What he's thinking, etc. So when I read a scripture like Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, I try to go back to the Sanatana Goswami's mind, because that's what the book is about. So what is the mind? He heard from Lord Chaitanya at Prayag. He was educated, and then he gave him some instructions, and now he has this mission. And this mission is very difficult, because and what I did in this teaching, and the people that are with me know, the first verse I picked out these 3 words: Parama Dasha Antim. This word Dasha, not Dasa, Dasha, it means stage. Parama stage, the top stage, Antim, of the top stage, the end of the top stage. And this is what our philosophy is in Krishna consciousness in terms of bhakti. It's the top stage in terms of love of God and full absorption of God and freedom to worship. If freedom means, if it's Aishwarya, there's certain things you can't do. So you can't get close, you don't know when. And I always say in Aishwarya, it's majesty, it's a perfect relationship with Krishna, but it has these elements of obligation, fear, and distance. But it's part of the love. Like if you have a respectable father, the fear is the love. Yeah. Yeah.
In ISKCON, there's a lot of that kind of love.
So so Sanatana Goswami, he's this Paramadashantim, he has to give it. And from his prayers, my understanding is it's basically impossible to do, because even Krishna can't understand that love. Naparayaṁ. When the gopis love him, he says, "There's no way I can repay you." So he has to figure out a way to do it. And therefore, when you are attempting to do something that's really beyond your capabilities, and communicating and preaching Krishna consciousness often is, you have to have grace. There has to be mercy. And mercy is and mercy means undeserved kindness, but there's a misconception about mercy that there's nothing you can do to get it. There's nothing you can do to earn it, but there's things you can do to attract it. And when you get it, you've attracted mercy, but it's still undeserved. It's still more than you. So he went into prayer, and then he came up with, and there's a term called samadhi bhashya. Bhashya means purport. The purport comes in samadhi. You don't find it in any scripture. At least my understanding of this is, how long has Krishna been living? Unlimited. So what's the scope of the pastimes of God? And what amount is available even in scriptures and writing? So these great souls, they can go and get something that's never been heard before. So in this way, he comes up with this story. And we know also that, the Bhagavatam spoken many times, and it could be a little different. This time when when Maharaj Pariksit finishes the whole thing, when he finishes the whole thing, then his mother comes. And there's this whole concept of, it's not when you become advanced, have to necessarily become detached from your loving mother. And we saw that even in Lord Chaitanya, he took sannyas, and we were reading when I was giving at Rupa Seva Kunj. Yeah, you were sick. Unfortunately, it was not just my class. The whole setup there was mind-blowing. Did you see their temple room?
Yeah, I was there for the installation of the anniversary.
Did you see the temple room? With that 20
I've seen it a week ago.
with Lord Chaitanya?
Yeah.
What?
It's unique.
It's
There's only
unique.
one like this in
Yeah, it's like a 15-foot Lord Chaitanya out of cardboard, and it's amazing. And in fact, we're talking about this Rupa Seva Kunj. So I gave the class there, they were having a retreat. But I'll just say something else. I was going around with Bhakti-viññāna Swami, and the genius that they're doing. You see, they want to get a lot of good paintings, but if you paint them on the wall, right, then the salt and everything, they crack. So what they're going to do is they're going to have these steel frames against the wall, then frames, and they're going to have it such that they'll have past paintings for each festival, so that they can put an original, like Ram Leela there or Krishna Leela. So anyway, it's such a setup, and I was giving class, and part of the story was describing, Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya, the part that I wanted to explain began with Lord Chaitanya wanting to send some gifts to his mother, and he's described as Matri Bhakta Shirmoni, the crest jewel of all, devotees of mothers. The crest jewel. So when Uttara comes, it's not just the mother, but it's this incredible devotee. And she's not just going because her son's dying. She wants to hear what was there. So now that there's only a short time to give it, Maharaj Pariksit, after hearing it and realizing it, has to present it, the whole thing. But he can't just tell the story, so he presents it in another form. In other words, the same message is another form. And we know this when you give Bhagavatam class. Prabhupada's purports, he may mention the Indo-Pakistan War. He may, it's the same message, but it's in a different form. So the same, and it's so brilliantly done. It's actually mind-blowing, because I've been studying it. I have two separate groups or three separate groups where I'm taking them through in different parts, and I'm studying with Niranjan Swami. It's just mind-blowing on that level, what someone like Sanatana Goswami, with that purified consciousness, what he can do. So anyway, it comes that the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta is the summary of this, and it's the story of Narada Muni. And it begins, and it's very beautiful. It begins at Kumbh Mela, and they just took bath in the Triveni. And if you ever have that experience, I did that at Kumbh Mela. I took bath in the Magh Mela, the big Maha Magh Mela, the one every 12 years. And I took bath at the auspicious time in the morning, freezing cold. You get out of it, the consciousness. I remember I went to the kirtan, and Lokanath Swami is leading the Mangal Artik. And the holy name, it was Goloka Prem Harinam Sankirtan. It was coming from the spiritual world. To such an extent, I swear, I was turning my head to the side because I wanted to catch the nectar. So all these purified sages, and they're before the Bindu Madhava deity, and they're all glorifying each other, because the consciousness of a great soul is the one place they don't want to be in consciousness is on the center. Because that's, I want to control and enjoy, and that gives like an umbrella of false ego over their consciousness so they can't feel the rays of God's prema. So that's the one place they don't want to be. Right? And Radhanath Swami is a good example of that when Kirtananda wanted to take sannyas, he tried to escape New Vrindavan. You know what I'm saying? Because he was a real sadhu. So they don't want that false ego. And they don't have it so when they're glorifying each other, each one, no, you're the topmost devotee. You're the topmost devotee. No, you're the topmost devotee. So they're just, and a beautiful point is made in the purport. It says, when devotees are friendly like this, the community prospers. Right? So that even your little community with now Katie or Juna, you know what I'm saying? It has to be so friendly. You know what I'm saying? And then the community prospers because that's what attracts people. When there's actually because people are looking for community. And community is a place where there's little false ego because people are focused on the unit that's serving their needs better than their selfish, self-centered ego that they always have to do and fight in the world. They can't wait to come to a community where they can drop that at the door. And that's when the holy name really affects the consciousness. Because that's why Sankirtan is better than Kirtan, because if you can really do it in community, you're without that false ego that blocks the energy of praying from touching your soul. So they're all like that. You know, with a community, when the community is friendly like that, it prospers. And Vasudev, he's very dedicated to Prabhupada, Radha, and Krishna, but he also has an affinity for Catholicism. His family was Catholic, and he goes to these communities, and you know it's near him. It's very attractive.
They are
Monastic communities.
nuns and
Yeah, and it's very attractive.
they're sattvic.
They're sattvic, but
The temple, the local temple is just nearby. And you go to this, there's a contrast because the temple is not right.
okay, I have an audience here too. So, but I'm just saying, what you find is that they're very centered on God, centered on the community. It's developed in that way. And people are trained and educated in that way. Not that, you know, in every institution, there's always difficulty and things like that. We're not, but so anyway, so what happens is Narada is in this incredible mood, and then he sees a Brahmin walking in Kumbh Mela. And there's a whole description how attractive he is. So then I'm going to get to where we are today. But what happens is he sees the Brahmin and he's viewing the Brahmin. And it's like, you know, Raghav, you see one of these like sattvic people. And, you know, it's like, what? You know, and he's the head of the thing and the way he worships, you know, and, you know, he's worshiping his Shalagram Shila. And you could, you know, it's like sattvic. You know, sattvic, you're in the moment rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. When do I finish, right? In other words, ragmarg means you're not, faith is not in the rule that I complete the activity and then I get the benefit. Ragmarg means you're focused out of love. So when you see it's when he saw him just the incense, you know, like and the lamp, and then he started singing, you know, spontaneously. Radha Krishna Pranam, you know, and then he's singing and the whole thing. And then when he finishes this worship and feeds all the Brahmins and he feeds everybody first, the dogs, the jackals, you know, and when he finishes the whole worship, he offers a prayer. Whatever benefit I got, I offer it back to you. So it's completely pure, and Narada becomes like, wow, wow. And so that's the first message of Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, is that we advance when, see, I'm in the first book. You see, it's the second book already. Anyway, the first book is that he goes and Narada says, you're the best devotee. And then you see the person's humility. They don't want that position of center because they have taste of service. So that everybody else is moving towards that center, fighting towards that center. And the real sadhu, right? He's trying to get out of that position. And sometimes he takes a position, but as service, not in consciousness of ego, but as service. So anyway, that's the first book, and he goes from one person to another, and it's just brilliant. Winds up in Dwarka, and then meets Uddhava. Uddhava points to the gopis. It's a whole story. So the first book is called Bhagavat Kripa Sar, the essence of God's mercy. Who has the most mercy of God? And it comes to the gopis, and it comes to Radha. And that's what Sanatana Goswami is supposed to give to the world. So he does it in this brilliant way through this incredible story that shows you different levels of bhakti and why one is more intimate than the other. And while you're going on this journey, you're seeing the essence of bhakti in each person, that there's no false ego, there's no desire for superiority, there's no desire for control, right? And there's no envy, because you're always going to say this person is better. So it's so antithetical to the material world, which seeps in everywhere, even in religious organizations. This is the challenge, to find people that really, have that kind of sense. But in the story, when Uttara is hearing this, she says, well, and this is very significant, these are the people, but where is the place? Because the place represents the people, because you organize the place according to the love you cherish and want to experience. And when it comes to spiritual realm, it's automatically created like that. And so she wants to know the place. And it's a very, very important point. What is the place? Because the place dictates the type of love that's experienced there. And therefore, when Srimati Radharani went to Kurukshetra, she wasn't satisfied, even though Krishna was there, because the demands on the place were for him to be majestic. And there's nothing he could do about it. And if Krishna wanted that other type of love, then automatically Vrindavan manifests. So the second book is called Goloka Mahatmyam, the glories. And this is done in another way. It's done through this story of Gop Kumar. And that's what I was saying. So the place. So then he starts searching, and he goes from one not just one person to another person, but one place to another place. And each place, what happens is very, very interesting, because he goes to these places where God is manifest. So it is his Lord, but not by the demands of the place, not in the relationship that he's seeking. So it's a little confusing. It's kind of like, if I give the example, if as a little child loves his father and he sees his father in the high court. So the father, he's happy, my father's there, but there's something wrong, because my father, he can't manifest intimately as my father. So this Gop Kumar goes through this incredible, we've been following it here, the incredible journey from one place to another place. And each place he becomes attracted, because it's God in each place, each planet, each place, in what is it, Mahaloka, they had Yogeshwara. Everybody was doing the yagyas, and God would appear out of the yagyas. And then there was Tapaloka with the four Kumaras, and they would appear, it was all in the mind, and everything. So he's going to all these different places, And another thing happens to him because he's so simple and he's so sweet. And therefore, through Gop Kumar, it shows you the qualities you need to actually achieve the highest thing. And one of his qualities is simplicity. He's not interested in surrounding himself with any accoutrements of power and control. But an interesting thing happens with him. In each place, a lot of place, somehow he winds up in that post. He winds up as Lord Brahma. He winds up as the king of Puri. He winds up in all these places. And like, he wound up as the king of heaven. Was it Brahma? Yeah, no, Brahma or what? What? He becomes Lord Brahma because all things happen and people, and in each place he's kind of he likes it because it's service. He can use the power to serve, but it's just I want to be alone. He doesn't want all that, and the mantra is so powerful that it fulfills any spiritual desire he has. So he keeps on going from one place to another, and therefore you get to see different places and what they offer, and you can see the essence of their spirituality. But somehow this faith, which I call this trust by experience, that's in your heart, you're never, if you really have faith, you really have that experience. Like we have experience of Braja Bhakti. No other place will ultimately be ultimately satisfying. I mean, like for example, just personally, you go to this monastery, it's so attractive, and God is there. And you're very attracted, it's God. But because you have that Braja Bhakti in you, it can never fully be your place. And you can be dragged in the Lord. I could see you, like, hey, okay, you're a little bit younger and you joined the monastery and then, but you can never, that faith, that experience you had of Radha Krishna will always drive you like forward to the place. This story goes on multiple layers. So then at one time, somehow he's about to go someplace. Now I can't even forget the place he's going, and he's on Satyaloka, and he doesn't want to leave Mahapurush. Okay, you're a Brajabhakta, but you're with Mahapurush. It's still God. And each of these places have their own ecstasy. And when you go in the material realm, each place is a million times more like beautiful. The people when you go to Vaikuntha, it says you think the ladies in the heavenly planets are beautiful. These ladies here are a million times more beautiful. Everything's 100 times. And there's another sub theme here too, is that you really have to transcend all the desires in the material world to reach the highest. And there's a process where you go through it, just like Grihastha ashram. You go through it to give it up. But there's a higher thing, and he goes. Anyway, this one, Lord Brahma says, no, you go back. I think your guru will be there. And he sees his guru again. Then his guru educates him. And he educates him a little bit, and then he disappears. But with that education, the training of the mantra, it's so powerful for him because he had just gone through all these planets, right? And it took some time. And each place, even when he realized it was high, he said, let me check this out for a little while and see what's going on here. So then what happened to him is like in a second now, his determination becomes a fact. And he's like scooting through these things. And then he comes to the abode of liberation. So all the planets, Satyaloka is the abode of liberation. And there, God is there, but he's covered by his effulgence. And there's a strong desire to serve God by being a particle in his effulgence. It's like the pleasure, if you're dunked under the water You know what I'm saying? You're dying, and then how much pleasure it is. You're just about to die, and then you get up and you gasp air. You know, it's like, but that pleasure, it kind of lasts eternally there. It doesn't like go. You're just completely excited. So it's drawing him in. It's like so powerful. It's so attractive. It's drawing him in, but his mantra kind of just saves him. And then just as he's, being saved, then there's this whole theme here of interplanetary travel. We're like Lord Brahma, and there are 4 Kumaras, they're going to, Lord Shiva now is going from Shiva Loka to Kailash, Mount Kailash, his like residence in the earth. And he stops there and he just sees Lord Shiva. He doesn't know who he is. But there's another type of realization, of experience. He can experience that this is God. And it actually said Lord Shiva is God. He's not a jiva, and it's very attractive, and he's just completely allured by Lord Shiva, and not only that, but it's the community around Lord Shiva um, is a beautiful community. I think it says. And he learned about, and then Nandisha explains about Lord Shiva is excellent, and he felt happy, but somehow or other, it just wasn't Braja Bhakti. It just wasn't Braja Bhakti. And even though he was so attractive, he can understand quickly, and he became disturbed because I'm forgetting my Lord. There's a certain loyalty also that's so attractive. See, he's loyal, my guru, the experience I had. He's also so loyal. But he felt a little disturbed. But so then he's thinking, well, maybe, and this is, he says, I informed my mind that maybe Lord Shiva, who is performing this vyasa-puja, these special pastimes, maybe he transformed into Lord Gopāla. Maybe that's one of his manifestations. He doesn't have Sambandha Gyan yet. So he's thinking, he's trying to reconcile things. And sometimes this happens, that they're confusing different points and it doesn't fit. And then we'll go on. So we did get to this. So he goes, Tatapi asvatam tatapi abhastamalaksha swachittam idam abruvam yad yasmin nanubhuyeta satadrupadi madhuri. Come on, not now. After class, you can go place for 10 minutes. It's like multitasking. It's multitasking. As if it's the only. Let me get this over with. It's not the way to do it. Okay. But seeing my mind still unsettled, I told it, if you fail to perceive something in Lord Shiva, it must be the rare sweetness of Gopal's beauty and his other such qualities. Now, you had people that are listening to me heard this story, but you may not have heard this story. I have a cousin, older. I had 2 brothers. So she's a cousin lady. She's like a sister. And she's very fond of me, even spiritually. And she took sannyas and is an Indian citizen and lives in the Himalayas. And
Really?
yeah, her name is Mahesava. Yeah. And she's a real sannyasi because her mother left her a trust fund so she wouldn't have to work. And her brother may had Asperger's or something, her older brother, who's now 80, my cousin. So she gave it all to him. So I would bring her down here to Vrindavan, right? And now I got to tell you, she had such a great sense of humor, even though she was a real strict sannyasi. She had such a great sense of humor. So I have this Italian godbrother named Arjuna. He's so Italian, right? So I invite him for Prasadam with her, Mahesava. So Arjuna says, yesterday my uncle died last week or 2 weeks ago, and we had a special feeding. Joseph Caselli died. We had a special feeding at Govardhan yesterday. And she said, did he die of natural causes? So then the next day we all go to Govardhan, right? And we're coming back, and when you would turn on the Prikram mark to go to my house, and Arjuna lived further. So he said, let me off there. And that's where the police station is. So he said, let me off there. And she told the driver, yeah, let him off at the police station. So she was in Vrindavan from the Himalayas, and she lived 5 hours from Rishikesh, no running water, even through the winter, right? So when she was in Vrindavan, she said, what is this sweetness here? What is this sweetness here? Then she came to Govardhan and she attended the Govardhan festival with Borijan and Sachinandana Swami. So she roomed with my god sister, Mother Nanda, who's very spiritually advanced. He was the president of Alachua. And then she looked at me, she says, what is this sweetness here? It's even more sweet. So there's a certain feeling, right? When you come to Vrindavan, Rishikesh is beautiful, and the Himalayas are beautiful. You come here, it's chaos. Maharaj, you know what I'm saying? The raspy voice. Raghunath came today, and Baba Grahi brought him those lassis were pretty good too, right? They had all kinds of nuts in them, and there's a certain like sweetness and charm to Govardhan, And even today, I hate Holi, but I had to go out to the front. So I have a translucent raincoat that goes down to my ankles, right? Because no, I wanted to see the Parikram path because I wanted to tell you what was going on. So when I come by on the corner here, there's a family lives in the corner, and they have the most beautiful little kid, right? He's so cute. And he had a little syringe, right? And I said, oh, I like that. And he went, holy, but it was on my raincoat, right? But he got such joy. And his parents were smiling. And then I felt they accepted me as part of the community now. You know what I'm saying? They got so much joy. They got the old cranky sannyasi down that they see, so many people coming into my ashram from America, So I'm a kind of a big man on the block, the kids was and then I thought, yeah, every year I got to go out with that raincoat. At least they can. And when you go out with the raincoat, you especially become a target. I don't like Holi. I think next year I'm going to go out in just dirty clothes and let them all splash me so I can be part of the.
I put on the same dirty clothes every year. Don't wash them.
That's an idea. Yeah.
Today I didn't go out except for Rupa Seva
Yeah.
by the back.
Yeah, sometimes the back. Last year what happened is they invited me to the Gaur Purnima festival. This year they sent a taxi. That Sabyasachi had to drive me, so we'd go the back way, and I wore my raincoat. So when you come, there's one corner where you can't, you just have to make a right. You have to slow down. There was so many, they were there, right? And then we had to step on it.
Really? I was lucky.
But I had my raincoat. And they were so frustrated.
Really?
I got the best raincoat because it looks kind of, it's not as obvious because it's not colored, it's translucent. But so he said, by seeing my mind unsettled, if you fail to perceive something in Lord Shiva, it must be the rare sweetness of Gopal's beauty and his other such qualities. There's kind of such a sweetness to Braj. Tatapi Dirga Raghunath was doing pretty good. We only have 5 more minutes. See, I was holding attention. Okay. Tatapi Dirga Vanchate Nugrahad Asya Saitziti Acharaditi Manyasva Swapasad Visheshata. Nonetheless, by Lord Shiva's mercy, your long-held desire will soon be fulfilled. By a special favor towards you, he assured this will be so. So actually speaking, Lord Shiva is a devotee of Krishna. It's like Govardhan. Govardhan's Krishna, but a devotee. So it's like Lord Chaitanya. He's Krishna, but a devotee. Of course, there's Shiva Tattva and Vishnu Tattva, but I was describing, I was coming back from Rupa Seva Kunj in a rickshaw by myself. And I used to have this American mentality. I paid for the rickshaw. I don't care if someone's starving or dying. I rented the whole rickshaw and I paid for the whole thing. But I stopped that now. So someone gets on it. It's this lady from Rupa Seva Kunj. And she starts asking me, they were studying the second offense, and it's confusing because the second offense says to consider Lord Shiva the same or different as an offense. So it's kind of like you're going to commit an offense no matter what you do. You have to see him as same and different. It's like Giriraj, you're worshiping Giriraj. Is it devotee or it's Krishna? It's the same and different. Well, that's a little different, but so Lord Shiva is the expansion, like Balaram is an expansion to serve Krishna in all affairs of existence and knowledge. So it's so Lord Shiva, and the other interesting point here is that this is all being organized by Srimati Radharani to bring her back home. And there's this concept that God is always with you. And everything that's organized around you is part of the plan to elevate your consciousness. And that your desire is almost an absolute fact. When you really desire God fully, you have him. So he's very simple and pure. And with that mantra, the Gopal mantra, Madan Gopal, it's a fact. So, so Lord Shiva everybody's coordinated. It's not like 2 teams. There's one team. It's Team Vasudev, it's Team Raghunath, it's Team Prampriya, it's Team Dhanurdhara. There's one team in the universe, and they're all working. So, and I'll just read it. My mind was thus appeased, and I was happy to stay a while by the side of Lord Shiva, who for some reason chose to take rest before going on with his journey. Okay, and then we're going to go for Lord Shiva, and then what's going to happen now is Lord Shiva and all.
Is it just me or did Maharaj disappear?
He disappeared.
I reappeared. This is the proof that I'm God. Came out of the grave. Have witnesses.
Who's that?
One of the people on this thing. So what was I saying? Yeah.
You were talking
Okay.
about Lord Shiva.
What?
You were talking about Lord Shiva, and he's going to
Oh
Kailash.
yeah, then yeah, thanks, Rati. Then what happens is Lord Shiva, and then they start seeing like these people, they're bowing down to them, they're respecting them, and they're 100 times more beautiful than anything they've ever seen. And it's the residents of Vaikuntha Loka. Even though in Shiva Loka, apparently there's four-armed people too, but it just, and he like, who is this? He never knew who Lord Brahma was. So it's just like simple faith, simple life, very attractive, very powerful, but you need the understanding to go direct. Otherwise, it's going to be trial and error. So you'll move in the right direction, but not as fast. Okay, now, Jamuna Jaya. Haribo, you there?
Hi, Bill Morris. Yeah, I'm here. Thank you for
Okay,
class, Morris.
okay, share with these people a point that you liked, okay?
Hey, guys.
What-
Hey, Raghu, I saw both Sachi and Tarun at the Bhakti Center last night. It was so nice to see them.
My daughter was at Bhakti Center.
Yeah, Sachi was at the Bhakti Center last night, and so was Tarun. Tarun was hanging out with Maya last night.
Oh,
So,
that is best
you're
news
familiar.
I've heard all day.
So, Rez, I was just really appreciating, you've said it a number of times, the qualities of Gurkamar, the simplicity and faith. And I'm really thinking the way you said it today, this whole book is about talking about the place. And I was thinking that the place inside of Gopakumar is a place of simplicity and faith. And that's why he can traverse so quickly. And I feel like for me, it was like if I set up my life with both simplicity and faith, then I make my life a place, the proper place that I can make advancement. So it just really hit me today, his internal place, and this book is about the physical place, how that lines up with his simplicity and faith. So,
Wow,
Krishna.
thank you. Jamuna Jaya.
Yes, Raj.
Shampak said that you did the soul space,
Yes.
and she said that your storytelling is something else. You told all the stories of Hanuman?
Yeah, I didn't tell all of them, but the basic of I called the class. I took a page from Himaraj and find a clever title, and I called it "The Good Monkey Mind." And so, I started various pastimes from Hanuman, where if we had his monkey mind instead of the crazy monkey mind, it brings out wonderful qualities. So I was very
That's a
pleased.
great way to do it, right?
Mhm.
That's a theme.
Yeah. So
That's a great way to do it. Okay, Gail, you have a question?
You'll be happy to hear, Maharaj. No.
This is like either you're becoming more advanced or you're losing your game. I can't figure it out. Okay,
No, me
great.
neither.
And Gail, you're so proud that Raghunath, did you meet Shameshwari?
She's amazing.
Okay, tell Gail about Shameshwari.
Gail, your daughter is a natural MC. I think I'm a natural MC. She's better than me. And she was lovely, and she's completely engaging, and everybody loved her.
Aw.
And she's going every night.
Wow.
She's focused, and gets all the mercy, and people love her.
Oh,
Wow.
I can't wait to relay your high praise.
Oh,
It'll
she's
probably give her
incredible.
goosebumps.
I told her on stage, but when I sang, I told her she was incredible, and everybody cheered for her. But if you want to tell her I said it, I really mean it. I wasn't just being polite. She's very good. She's got the
Oh my
gift
God.
of gab, and used in the appropriate way.
Wow. It doesn't get better than this, Raghunath. Thank you so
No,
much.
that's the best. That's the best. The big mom win.
Thank you so much.
And Vasudev is staying in his daughter's house in Govardhan. right?
Yeah.
And she lets him stay in his house, right?
Yeah.
So it's a daughter night, right?
Your daughter is a pastor.
She's
Okay.
building it. She's almost through. Wow. She lives in Mayapur, but she came just 2 days ago to finish the house
Where is it?
and
Okay.
get my participation, of course, as much.
Is it?
Lal and Bṛhad want to say hello to you.
Hare Krishna. Haribo. Haribo. Miss you guys.
Miss you guys.
Miss you guys.
I wish we were with you here, and I wish you were with us where we were.
I know.
Bṛhad, this Govardhan Bhakti Seva Ashram, I feel like I'm living in Jiva Dharma. The personalities that come in here. This guy came in today. I hadn't seen him in 30 years. I don't know. And what I remember was he was this musical genius. And when he chanted the Hare Krishna mantra, he would describe to me, it was like a symphony where he had the mantra going. He would chant the mantra simultaneously at the same time in different something, like layers of
Wow.
mantra. He's completely absorbed, completely. And we
Wow.
brought this guy from we brought this guy. This guy used to come from Radhakund. I had a friend of Babaji, and he stayed in the room next to him, and he was saying, like, who is this guy, who chants like this all night, never sleeping? So he shows up at my door, right?
Yeah.
And hadn't seen him in so long. And then Vasudev, we're talking about 40 years ago, we were preaching in Jaipur together.
Wow. Wow.
So
Incredible.
it's just these personalities that come to Prabhupada's movement. And you also, Raghunath.
They're all making it horrible.
That's what my mother did at my vyasa-puja. So she's sitting at the table, and I'm sitting another place. I come up, and I come up to see how they're doing, and she goes like this. Oh, you. Like Terry, right? Like a Terry move, right? They know how to really just oh, you're here. Okay.
But how about when she was hitting you with her cane for the cookies?
Not hitting me, poking me in the side. More cookies. At my vyasa-puja, my mother comes, so I sit her a distance from me when I'm handing, the worship. So I say, sit her like a little distance. So she comes and sits. She says, move up the chair. So, the cookie's there, and I give her the cookie first, right? Then I'm handing out the cookies, and I feel want another cookie. No respect. I get no respect. Okay.
There will never be a vyasa-puja to top that one.
Oh my God, Gail. Well, the one before where she put the little girl in my lap to take pictures. Okay. Okay.
Thank
All right. I'm seeing everybody that's come here, and yeah, this Govardhan Bhakti Seva Ashram is really something. And now we got the whole thing, that another 2 units, so we can serve more Vaishnavas. So we're pretty excited about that. Amala Kamala, are you okay?
Yes,
Hello?
Guruji. Yes, yes, yes,
She
I'm
lives
all right. Yes.
in Israel. Are a lot of bombs falling?
Yes.
Yeah, there are. So a little tense. Okay. We pray for all the Vaishnavas, all
Thank
the
you, Guruji.
people in Israel and Iran,
Iran, yeah.
for all of them, and hope that peace comes soon.
Thank
Okay?
you, Guruji.
Okay, we pray for you. Okay. And the Iranian Vaishnava is not on this because they can't get internet. So,
Otherwise, they do come.
oh yeah, yeah, they come. We will. Oh wait, Suyaradika, you represent your people now. Are you there? No? Okay. Okay. Haribo, Vanjakopatri Vishchaka.